Hi there, it's Jacqueline. Welcome to my cooking class. Guys, I am so excited to be here. Now, this is a recording, as you can tell, but here's the deal. I still haven't got myself organized since I came back from my amazing trip, and I actually thought, okay, to make this special, because you guys are watching this recorded, I thought what I'd do is a recipe that I probably wouldn't do live anyway. And it's timely because there's a couple things that are coming up. I'm sure you know about them. Easter, for one. And of course, we've got our Spotlight solution, which I wanted to focus on a product that is in the collection. And the only way you can get the product is had it from before. Yes, I'm an Epicure foodie. Or purchase it now in our Spotlight promo. Our Spotlight promo product that I'm talking about today and will be making is our carrot cake. Yes, bunny season is here. Easter's here. It's time for us to get some carrots out and into our mouths and onto our plates and in our dessert. So today's cooking class is going to be baking. Oh my gosh, how many times have you seen me bake? Not very often. There's a story around that, but that'll be part of our fun food facts. So let's get started with making this amazing gluten-free carrot cake. Super easy to make. One of the reasons I love using Epicure in the first place is because baking and cooking can be so easy. Now you just saw I put oil into our silicone square steamer. Now normally, we don't normally have to put oil in our steamers when we cook, right? Nothing, we just put our raw veg and our meat and boom, we're done. But when we're baking a cake, it's important for us to get a little bit of liquid in there, oil in particular. Make sure you go up the sides and do not use that spray. Guys, if you're using that spray, go read the labels. Number one, it says that it's explosive. Well, that in itself would be a flag for me going, okay, what is in here? When you read the labels, you'll understand in order for it to spray out, they put a propellant on it. Do you want a propellant on your food? But more importantly, here's the deal. When you're putting that spray on our silicone or any silicone out there, it actually pits it. And it's going to ruin your really nice silicone ware. So do not use the spray. In fact, my recommendation is move it aside and definitely don't use it on a barbecue. So we've oiled our pan, lightly oiled it. And now we need to get ourselves making how easy this dish is. So our cake is going to require a larger bowl. And what we're going to do is we've got 2 eggs whipped. We've got oil. Let's talk about oil. This is vegetable oil. I do prefer using vegetable oil versus olive oil when I'm baking, unless it's like a ricotta cake, which has a very Italian feel. But I find that vegetable oil of its sorts does not add or impart the flavoring of maybe some of the heavier ones like olive oil. So in this case, I'm using vegetable oil, but you decide, it's up to you. We are then going to add crushed pineapple. Now, some of you may be saying, I can't do this recipe, I don't have crushed. Don't worry, you can use sliced pineapple, you could use diced, or what do they call it, chunk pineapple, or if you have crushed. Now here's the deal, if you're using the other two, of course, you're gonna have to put it out on a chopping block and use your knife and cut it into nice fine pieces. Now, I do wanna talk to you about crushed pineapple. Crushed pineapple, read your labels. There's jars, or what should I say, there's cans out there that have pineapple in its natural juices, and then there's ones that have sugar added. Pineapple's sweet enough, you don't need the sugar, so read your labels. The other thing I will tell you is crushed pineapple is much more juicy. So if you are chopping up your chunks or your slices, make sure you keep the juice, because the juice is important for the moisture. You don't want to drain it. And in fact, the recipe actually says half a cup of crushed pineapple. It does not say strained, drained, or anything. So just scoop out a half a cup. Now I'm going to use my saute spoon. I love this saute spoon for baking because I find it's a scoop and a scraper all in one. And as I'm looking at this, it's like, oh, let's get all that egg in too. As it sat there, it looked a little bit more. And you can start giving this a stir. Now I like making sure that this is mixed well before I add my next two ingredients, which of course is carrots, grated carrots. Hopefully you have a food processor. Make your life really simple. That's what I've done. And this is 2 cups of grated carrots. See how handy this saute spoon is? And now we're going to add our package mix. Okay, so here's the deal, guys. Why don't I bake? Because I think baking just makes a disaster in my kitchen. And if you're watching my cooking classes, you know I modify every recipe anyway. So put the two together. I hate a messy kitchen and I modify recipes. Okay, that means that in my kitchen, if I was making this from scratch, I would probably have out the flour, the sugar, the sifter, the measuring cups, the measuring spoons, a whole bunch of different spices. My kitchen would be a disaster. Epicure just makes it easy, and if you haven't discovered that already, give it a try. Remember, this is a Spotlight Solution product, and if you order it right away, which I strongly encourage you to do, that way it'll be in your hot little hands and in your beautiful homes just in time for the season. Easter is coming in March. If you haven't been aware, go look at your calendar. It's early March. Also, you may need the sweetness because we're also coming up really soon to, oh my gosh, that dreaded change your clock time. Yeah, that sucks too, right? Anyway, so you'll notice the mix is fairly thick. The only moisture that went in here was that little bit of oil. A little bit, you might have, of course, your carrots might be a little juicy, but more importantly, it's your pineapple juice. So that's why it's important that you've got that moisture in there. So make sure it's well mixed. We're going to, how easy was that? Really easy. We're gonna take this, we're gonna dump it inside our square steamer. Now, some of you may be saying, I don't have the square steamer. Well, buy one. I always say buy what you need so you make your life easy in the kitchen. However, if you've got the big multi-purpose steamer, I'm sure it would work. I've never tried it, but it's just got much higher walls. And with higher walls, it may present a little bit of an issue when it comes to releasing this because you've got that big wall to take it out. But I'm sure it'll cook. It just might be a bit of a pain getting it out. So the last thing I'm gonna say is once you've got it in here, give it a good little tap. That levels it out. You can do 2 things with this. If you want, you can bake it in an oven for 35 to 40 minutes. I do think the flavor's better if you bake it, but I know most of you are rushed for time and you do not want to spend any more time in the kitchen than you have to. So, hey, let's throw this in the microwave for 8 minutes. Keep in mind, some microwaves are a little bit different, so you may have to add a minute to this, but chances are it's 8 minutes. Okay, so stay tuned. I will be right back once I put this in the micro. So while we're waiting for our long time, 8 minutes, not very long at all, I want to tell you about the Spotlight Solution and some of the products you can get right now. So the Spotlight Solution is only available for 2 weeks, starting today, Thursday, February 29th, happy leap year, yay. But you're gonna get 2 of our carrot cakes. There's also our gluten-free shortbread cookie. Oh my gosh, I love this, love this. Cran lemon loaf, yum. And, oh, I I was going to make a mocktail. Stay tuned. I might in my next cooking class. We'll see. But our luscious lemon curd. And nothing to me screams Easter like luscious lemon. So if that's something that appeals to you, make sure you go grab it while it's available. So how about if I tell you some fun food facts about carrot cake? So carrot cake, they believe, goes back to the European times, mid-century. They believe the original origin might have had something to do with carrot pudding. I know, I'm thinking carrot pudding. I've never heard of it, but basically carrots are naturally sweet. And so back in the day, of course, sugar refineries weren't around the corner and you couldn't buy sugar at the grocery store. They actually used carrots as a sweetener, and they would use this, they would apparently boil it with water and reduce it and make a carrot pudding. And then someone added flour to it and ta-da, it became carrot cake. So another fun food fact, I was looking in the Guinness Book of World Records. I always look there and it's like, has anyone ever made the largest cake, carrot cake? And certainly a country named Canada, that would be Canada. Hello, check out the spelling. I don't know who does the Guinness Book, but obviously not a Canadian. It is held by a bakery in BC, Surrey, BC to be particular. A bakery made a cake that was over 4,200 pounds. I don't know why they would do that. That's an awful lot of cake. For those of you who wanted to know how much is that in kilograms, that's over 2,000 kilograms. Now it's like, holy cannoli. Anyway, Guildford Mall holds the record since 2016. What else can I tell you about this? Well, carrot cake, of course, has carrots in it. And some people may say, oh, does it count as a vegetable for me? There's roughly, on the average carrot cake, there's roughly about 8 servings of carrots in there. And the answer is no. Unfortunately, because it's sweet. So yeah, there's too many calories in carrot cake to count it as a vegetable. And I guess that's the answer for you. Sad news. So there you go. Now you know a little bit about carrot cake. So what you may want to do while this is cooking for your 8 minutes is go wash your dishes, because you haven't got many to wash. Chances are by the time it's done, your kitchen's already clean. The other thing is you're probably going to want to make some icing, a buttercream icing or a cream cheese icing would be my recommendation. And you need to make sure that when you do this, you ice it when your cake is cool. So you can't pull it out immediately and ice it. So if you can, do your cake the morning of, the day before, but as it's a gluten-free carrot cake, you need to make sure that you don't do it too far in advance, because any gluten-free product does dry out faster. So I think that's really important to note. Okay, and I'm going to tell you one more fun food fact, and then I'm going to clean my dishes because I have 3 minutes left. Okay, so here's the deal. Why don't you see me baking? Well, as you know, many of you come to watch my cooking class because I like modifying recipes. It's like I'll see something and I'll make something else. And I have discovered that when you do that when it comes to baking, it doesn't work. Well, it works. You get something that's really tasty, but that fluffy cake, for me, ended up being a pound cake many times. I've learned my lesson. I'm not the worst baker in the world, trust me. But it's actually quite funny because inevitably I will find that I missed something. So again, Epicure makes it easy. I'm going to give a shout out to my girlfriend Brenda Lougheed, Dr. Brenda Lougheed, who told me, go watch this movie on Apple TV. It's called oh gosh, something, I'm going to post it below. Chemistry, lessons in chemistry. There we go. Hey, Brenda, I watched it. It was amazing. It takes place in the 60s by a woman who was, I guess she was a feminist. She was a chemist, but no one gave her credit because she was a girl. And thank goodness times have changed. Anyway, for her to sort of pull it in, she had her own cooking class and she baked. Baking is chemistry. So if you think you're not good in math, chances are if you're baking, you understand math. You know that if you don't put certain things in, it doesn't turn out. So maybe I'm not that good in math. I don't know. I should probably read instructions. So anyway, like I said, shout out if you haven't seen it and you've got Apple TV, go check out Lessons in Chemistry. It's a great movie. I loved it. So stay tuned. I am now going to go wash my dishes and I'm going to start mixing up my buttercream. I don't know if you can see it, but I've got my stand mixer here. I'm going to start mixing up my buttercream icing. Doesn't have to be done right away because I can't do that cake right away, but I plan on making something really cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you our last results when it's done of what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. In fact, I'm just going to stay on with you because it's only 46 seconds left. And I will post the recipe of my cream cheese. I'm going to do a cream cheese icing, and I also am going to talk to you about doing carrot twirlies just to decorate your cake up and make it look cute. Stay tuned. We are 24 seconds away. So do you have any questions? Have you made our carrot cake before? If you haven't, you should try it. You can do muffins, you can use the Perfect Petites, which I believe is part of the Spotlight solution. That was featured in I think it was Chatelaine magazine, our Perfect Petites tray, as being one of the best things to have in your kitchen. It's really quite cool. It's good portion control as well. So here we go. The microwave is ready. Our dessert is almost here. There you have it. Now, it does require some cooling. You can feel the heat. You'll notice I did not put the lid on it. So once it's cooled down, maybe about 10 minutes when you can feel that there's not heat radiating out here, our square steamer does come with a lid. You may want to put the lid on once it's cooled down. While you're waiting for it to cool, you can tuck it in the fridge if you're a little bit rushed. But your cake is done. 8 minutes, about 2 minutes to prep. How easy is this? My type of baking. So if you want to ice your carrot cake, here's the recipe that I'm going to use. Hopefully you love it as much as I do. So you're gonna get a block of cream cheese and make sure it's room temperature. I like chopping it up a little bit in advance. And do not use spreadable cream cheese. It changes it, trust me. We are going to get softened, unsalted butter. Now, can you use salted butter because it's the only butter you have there? You can, but again, it changes the texture and taste for sure. I shouldn't say texture, it doesn't. It changes the taste. So I'll scoop that in there. And we're going to whip this up. If you've got a stand mixer, great. And make sure this is well blended. The next two things that you're gonna make sure that you have is salt and vanilla, and of course, icing sugar. So we'll just give this a whip. Once this is nice and creamy, now we're going to add our salt. And we don't need a lot. If you've used salted butter, you maybe want to omit this. You're gonna take 1/4 teaspoon, which is using our 4-in-1 spoon. It's on the back side of this. And again, with our spoon, we're going to add, I like putting a couple teaspoons of vanilla extract. Now, not every vanilla extract out there is the same, so go take a look. Are you using imitation vanilla or real vanilla? Okay. Now we're gonna mix this. And yes, I haven't forgotten, I will be putting in my icing sugar. But I wanna make sure this is mixed well. Now, a good cook, I should also say, make sure you've got your spatula, because your hand mixer, chances are You'll notice that your product is going up the walls, maybe not incorporating 100%. So you may want to use this a couple times. Pull it down and whip it up. All right, lesson learned. I've had icing sugar explode across my kitchen. Why? Because when I decided to put the next part in, which is our icing sugar, I dumped it in and my mixer was at too high of a speed. So make sure you turn your mixer as slow as it can go without turning off. And you're going to just add this a little bit at a time. Also, if you're dumping it straight in, you'll get that poof. Yeah, you're cleaning the kitchen. You know where I'm going with this. So we're just going to add approximately 4 cups of icing sugar. Let it incorporate and make sure that you push down the sides of the walls because again, I'm gonna let this catch up to what I've already added. It's going to be thickening up. I think you can see. When it starts balling and getting that nice texture, we add a little bit more. If you want, and some of you may want to put coloring in your icing, because of course your vanilla is brown. You're not going to get a perfectly white icing, and for some of you that may be something you're concerned about. You may also want to put in some orange coloring. Stay tuned. I'm going to show you the final results. I think you're going to like the little project that I've come up with. That's how you make cream cheese icing. Remember, scoop it all down, make sure you've got the consistency you want, and make sure your cake is cooled so you can ice this and it works well. Okay, I said stay tuned, see what I'm coming up with. So my cake has now cooled, and what we're going to do now, you can do many things, but I thought I'd make my carrot cake look like a carrot. So with this square one, what you can do is you can cut this into triangles. You'll notice that you may have a little piece left over. Don't worry, I've got a game plan. Set this part aside. Just gonna grab my lid, tuck this away, and I've got the start of 3 different sizes of carrots. Now you'll notice that the tops, you may need to, of course, cut them so they're a little bit more uniform. We're keeping all these pieces because we're gonna make another idea with our leftovers. So keeping all these pieces, we roughly have the start of our carrot cake. You may want to round off the edges. I'm now going to ice it. So when you're doing your icing, of course, I mixed up a huge, the total recipe. And of course, you saw me using my 4-cup prep bowl. And you may not have orange as an option for coloring. And that was an issue for me. So again, you can do this. What I've done is I went through my baking items, and I know that if I put a little bit of pink with yellow, I'm going to end up with the orange. Tip here, do mostly orange, because any color that's red, it really intensifies quickly. So my recommendation is it's mostly yellow, a little bit of the pink or red, and you should have a beautiful, vibrant orange. I've mixed it up already, and there you go. That looks like a really good orange color. Now, the other thing is you may want to have icing that's green for the leaves. So rather than putting all this in your tub, I'm gonna strongly recommend that you split your icing, the bulk of it for, of course, the carrot being orange, but pull off a little bit of the icing that you can color in green so you can do some piping on the top and make this really look like a carrot. So Here's one more fun food fact about why I don't bake. As I mentioned, I don't like having my kitchen a total disaster, but I have a husband that has a sweet tooth, and the minute he can smell baking, he will come upstairs and he's like a vulture. He's hovering. He's waiting for it to come out. He doesn't care if it's hot out of the oven. So that's one of the reasons I'm still cleaning the dishes potentially, and my husband's already ate half the dessert. So truth be told. So I hope you enjoyed today's cooking class. I'm going to post the final results. I'm not going to have you watch me ice this because that would be like seeing grass grow. But I really want to thank you for popping into today's cooking class. It was a pleasure, and I certainly hope that you take a look at Epicure as a fun way to do baking, making your life super easy, super fast. And I do know that I think the company's got a bunny cake that can be made in our round steamer as well. So stay tuned, lots of options, lots of fun, and that's one of the reasons why we love Epicure. Okay, here it is. Your carrot cake. Looking like carrots. What do you think? How easy. Made out of your square steamer. Cut, do some icing, put it on a big plate, and hey, you've got a carrot patch. Hope you enjoyed the cooking class. I'll see you again, and remember, we still have leftovers. Label them, throw them in your freezer. I've got another idea for baking where the work's almost already done for you. Take care. Again, thanks for watching. Bye.